Welcome to the Daily QCI for Sunday, July 6th. This isn't your average reflect, refocus, recharge. Instead, because we are on a Q3 launch, if you're doing OKRs and following along on this path, not everybody likes OKRs. At the very beginning, we would have talked about other options for executing strategy and completing goals. We talked about balanced scorecard just briefly in mentioning, talked about IAPs briefly, and then we spent time on OKRs. That was back in January. So today, before we do an OKR refresher later in the month, we're going to do an introduction of something called the PACER test when you're writing a goal. So goals can be as broad and fuzzy or as detailed as you want. I want to grow my business. I want to grow more clients. I want to be a better leader. Take your pick. Here's the rub. Vague goals produce vague results. So there's a framework called PACER, P-A-C-E-R, and it basically forms a test for how well your goal is written and how well your plan is for achieving that goal. If you have a goal of wanting to increase the number of clients that you have, whatever your business, P in PACER is it framed in the affirmative? So P is positive. Increase the number of clients. That is an affirmative. A negative wording would be, I don't want to struggle with revenue. So it has a negative wording in the sentence versus a positive. So reframe toward what you want rather than away from what you don't. The A in PACER is achievement. How will you know when you've gotten there? If you want to have new clients, you determine the number. So is it a number per month, per quarter, by the end of the year? So if you want to have 10 new clients by the end of October, then having that means you will have booked calls, signed contracts, and payment of some sort. The C in PACER is context. When, where, with whom. Rather than just 10 new clients, now you want to specifically say what kind of clients. You don't want just any patient in your practice, I assume. You're going to want a specific kind of patient in your practice. In your medical clinic, you may want a specific type of patient to come see you. So context is where you're going to add details to that sentence. 10 new what kind of client. Next, E, ecology. What happens if you achieve this and what happens if you don't? So if you land 10 new clients, you may need to adjust your schedule. You may lose some free time, but you'll grow your business and you're going to make a positive impact. And if you don't go after this, then you may stay stagnant, frustrated. So ask the hard question, what is the cost of success and what is the cost of comfort? And then importantly, does this goal align with your values, the stated values and your lived values? Finally, the R in PACER is resources. Can you initiate and maintain the goal, and how will you do that? So you may have some initial expertise, but if you need help with something, do you need to hire an advertising firm? Do you need to hire a virtual assistant or an executive assistant? Do you need somebody else to help with the back end with your website to help attract those clients once they land there? So that kind of thing you'll need to know and write that out. Map it. How are you going to handle those hires and the work they do? So is it positive, measurable, contextualized, ecologically sound, and resourced? If it is, you have a goal. Well thought out goal. So today, start your path to be the one who doesn't just dream it, but the one who defines it, designs it, and does it. I'll see you tomorrow.